John Longazo was my father, of course. And then, like I said, I never knew him. He died right after I was born. A couple of weeks after that, I was born. He looked at me and said, "No way," and he died. Well, he was, before he came to California, he was a coal miner. He got black lung disease. He worked for MGM Studios. He was he did all the lighting and electrical work for the sets and things there in MGM Studios. And my mother was Lucille Bowen. And before the Bowens were there, the names were before that was Thurston. They came across the plains, the Jedediah Grant wagon train to Salt Lake. My mother and my grandmother took care of my brother and me when we grew up. After high school, when I was in high school, I played on the junior varsity and varsity football teams. That was fun. And then after that, I went to the colleges there, Long Beach City College. I worked Long Beach Automotive. We worked on airplanes there, Long Beach Airport. We went out to Palmdale they had a graveyard out there, PBYs. That's a seaplane. We would disassemble the PBYs out there and truck them back to Long Beach and rebuild them in Long Beach and then sell them to Canada, because that's where all the lakes were in Canada. I joined the Air Force Reserves, and I was on the B-26 squadron at the Long Beach Airport. And I was one of the crewmen on that bomber. And then I transferred over to the regular Air Force after that. And when I went in the Air Force, they transferred me to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Otis Air Force Base. And I was there for the 4 years. I was in the engineering squadron of the Air Force, because that's what I did in college, all that information. And I did a lot of drafting work there. And then after that, I got things opened up over at the North American Aviation. That became Rockwell after that. We got the contract to build the Apollo to the moon. And so I was one of the design engineers for that. Okay, on the Apollo we had the command module. We had the drogue parachutes. I worked on those. That's two drogue parachutes should come out first, and then you release those, and then the three main chutes come out after that. So I was involved in that. After the Apollo, there was a whole year before the shuttle started up, the space shuttle. So they shipped me over to work on the B-1 bomber. And I worked on the B-1 bomber. There was 3 bomb bay doors on that thing, and one of them is a missile one, and the missile one it's got 6 missiles, and they go around and drop the bottom one. They go around and drop the bottom one. They go around and drop the bottom one. Well, I had to design a way so that you never shoot the missile up into the plane. Only the bottom one gets fired. So I worked on that design. And then after that, I went, when we got the space shuttle contract, I went back to work on that as a design engineer. And on the space shuttle, that was so interesting. That was tremendous. So I worked on the separation systems to separate that tank from the shuttle. And we did that with explosive devices. Well, yeah, I was going to college. I was in a car club. It was called Converse Car Club. She was in a sorority at her high school, and their sorority invited our car club to the Halloween dance. And I went to the Halloween dance, and that's where I met my little witch, my beautiful wife. That was nice. I think I fell in love with her the first night I saw her at the dance. Yeah, that worked out pretty good. And then she took the lessons about the church because she wasn't a member. Now, after I was away from my wife, we were already engaged. After I was away from her for 6 months, we decided to get married because I was away from her. So I took leave. They gave me a leave. I went home, married my wife there in Long Beach, and took her back with me. We had a 49 Chevy. We drove it took us 9 days to travel from California to Otis Air Force Base, Massachusetts. And we've been married 66 years now. Oh boy. I'm only 87 years old. I'll be 87 in February. My wife just turned 83. I know all about Heavenly Father. We have a Heavenly Mother. Well, why we don't talk about our Heavenly Mother, that's hard for me to understand. We have one hymn, my favorite hymn. I think it's "Oh My Father." It talks about our Heavenly Mother. That's the only hymn. I had a testimony in the Book of Mormon, and it just came to me. Just came to me just by. When I was in the Air Force, we were active in the church. We had a little apartment when I was in the Air Force, and the missionaries came over and continued the lessons with my wife, and she was baptized there. And we had a little branch there. It was that we went to. It was about only about 10 miles away from the base, and that's where I grew up. I was made a deacon, and then a teacher, and then a priest, and then an elder. And then when I got out of the Air Force, the first thing we did, we went to the Los Angeles Temple. And we're sealed. And we had our we only had our 2 daughters at that time, and they were sealed to us. That was, I never can, I always remember that, because when they brought my daughters in, they looked like little angels, all dressed in white, beautiful daughters, little, oh. That was really something. So that was in the Los Angeles Temple we went to. This is where I met Ben Fuller. he married my oldest daughter. And we were both 70s. And then we were made presidents of 70s. And we were over all the missionary work at that time. That's what 70s did at that time. Under his father, the Lord created this earth. He created everything under the direction of his Heavenly Father. Now for him to create this whole universe, Heavenly Father and him Heavenly Father must have been a Heavenly Father for an awful long time before we were born there. Because look at billions of stars he's created. Wow, he didn't do that overnight. My wife's cooking. And I like my chocolate Ovaltine and my glass of milk. Probably that place where I met my wife. Pearl of Great Price. Oh, I love the Pearl of Great Price. There's a lot in there. Yeah, there's a lot of them in 3rd Nephi when Christ appeared to the people. I think it's over my Father, and the one that talks about our Heavenly Mother.